Hello and welcome back to the Nasty Metal Production channel here at YouTube, and welcome to another Friday review. And today, well, just like the previous review, this is me fulfilling another request, and this request comes from the band themselves, and this had been requested to me since August, and I'm finally getting around to it. But either way, let's get into it. The band in question here, though, and since this is actually their second album, is a Polish stoner / groove metal band, the Black Thunder, and the album here in question is Into the Darkness We All Fall, which was released through Defense Records on June 30th of this year. So, the Black Thunder, again, since I've already kind of stated where they are from, again, they are from Poland, which is Byto Pomorski. I think hopefully I pronounced all that correctly. If I did, I apologize. If I didn't, I mean. So that's where they are from. They were formed all the way in 2019, and that's apparently they originally started off playing as a heavy metal / hard rock band, and that I think that pretty much at least began with, of course, their debut demo in 2009, then their EP titled "The Thunder Is Black" in 2012, and then of course the Quick Shot EP. Also from 2013, that might have maybe span into their first debut album in 2017 titled Visions in Black, but that might have been the beginning of them being more here as a stoner / groove metal band, and that's where we finally just head into their second album here, Into the Darkness We All Fall. So without further ado, let me get into my thoughts on this particular release, so I can again fulfill the long-awaited request. So let's get into it, shall we? Alright, so before we really get into any of my overall thoughts on this release, you know what I have to do? I have to do a track list and rundown so I can tell you folks what are the songs on this album, how many songs were on this album, and what is the time length for this album. And since we have at least about, 9 songs, it all clocks in at 43 minutes and 18 seconds. So these 9 songs begins with Everybody Lies, then going to Self-Destruction, We Are the Evil Masters, Pain Inside My Head, We Are All Born of Nothingness, Everlasting Search for Inner Peace, The Sun Is Falling Down, which is Everlasting Search for Inner Peace is a 1 minute and 37 instrumental. So let's just begin. Since I already mentioned The Sun Is Falling Down, let's definitely mention the last 2 songs there, which are After Downfall / Rise, then ending with Flowers on My Grave. So there's your 9 songs there. I know I kind of forgot a little bit because I kind of had to backtrack myself a little bit, or go back, you know. Alright, nothing's perfect here. Okay, so since I already just mentioned the track listing, let's actually go into the actual album here. Since this is my introduction, again, I didn't really know much about these guys until I received that Gmail, basically a message, or just that email basically from the band, basically requesting me to actually maybe listen to this and possibly review it. And again, they wanted to see some sort of at least review, at least on this channel, since again, when you start getting a little bit more recognized, I guess that's when you start really, you start getting the all the calls or whatnot. You everyone starts basically contacting you. So there we go. That's how everything came about. So again, I didn't really know about these guys until I got that email from them on my Gmail account. So I decided to check it out, listen to it, and see how, just to really listen to this and see if it's, worthy of reviewing, or if it's at least if I'll have anything really to say. And the more I really listen to this album, the more I really have something to say about it. And I'll just tell you this, since right now this is definitely during the more groove metal / stoner rock or stoner metal phase, I can't really compare to anything before Power Hand, okay? Because again, I'm not familiar with all the other stuff. I didn't really go back and listen to it, so this is all I can go by from. Just so beginning with this album during their newest musical phase, all I can tell you is that The first two tracks off this album are definitely fine. You definitely get that idea. It almost sounds like if, I don't know, that don't take me on this one, okay? Don't try and basically try and make this as a or you yourself basically don't try and really use this as a concrete just a solid comparison, basically, of what I'm trying to say there. Don't try and use this as a solid, oh yeah, they sound little like this. This is just personally me, from what I can listen from all the bands I've listened to within the genres, being whether groove metal or even within the stoner rock or stoner metal genres. This is all I can go by. To me, from listening to, especially when it kicks off with these two songs, again, Everybody Lies and Self-Destruction, it's almost like if Queens of the Stone Age wanted to go for a more, I guess, Pantera-like groove metal, even though I can't really, to me that's a stretch, because Pantera really aren't like the be-all end-all of groove metal. I would say more so, I've seen a lot of people compare the Black Album from Metallica being almost more of a groove metal album, and that was a long time ago. That was actually on a forum, I think, where someone tried to make the, basically tried to really who basically said that the obviously to him that the Black Album was more of a groove metal to him than really a heavy metal record. This is an interesting observation, but that's kind of, I think, is more of a better comparison if Queens of the Stone Age tried to go more for like a Metallica style Black Album sound. And that's what you get with this one. Though there is a little bit of a Pantera feel going on here, but it's not really as powerful. It doesn't really overpower a lot of it. So I can kind of see the comparisons there, but that's what I tend to take from this album, is basically Queens of the Stone Age going more for more really heavy, sort of almost modern, groovy sort of metal kind of sound, almost like they went metal, and this was obviously the direction they would have gone with. That's the best one. You really get that sort of that overall feel with the first two tracks here. But personally, for me, they are definitely solid opening tracks. But I think the album really gets kicked into gear with beginning with the third track, We Are the Evil Masters. To me, this is where everything really kicks into gear for me. Where I really enjoy the album really a lot more. Again, from there to Pain Inside My Head, We're All Born of Nothingness. All of these are heavy, but they've got a really nice sort of nice pace and tempo and groove to them. To where I think it just flows better and everything's really more consistent. Like it has a way of building. Like each song, for the most part, gets really good. Personally for me, since again I got an open mind, so I can give albums at least a fair judgment and overall just a fair listen, and again give you my fair opinion. And to me personally, for me again, beginning with these three songs, We Are All the Evil Masters, Pain Inside My Head, and We Are All Born of Nothingness. I think these three songs is where everything begins to, where I think the album starts really flowing away really good. It kind of breaks a little bit with the instrumental there being Everlasting Search for Inner Peace, which is more of a very, I wouldn't say calm, but it's got a very somber, sort of very clean guitar sound with a very cool atmosphere going on there. So it definitely kind of breaks it, but again, it might be served as like an intro to the next track, which again is where I think the whole consistency really begins to come back in full circle base, where everything starts flowing great. Again, that begins with The Sun Is Falling Down, and of course into After a Downfall / Rise, which is again really begins to really flirt with more thrashier style tempos in many ways. Again, with more a slightly sort of semi-blast beats in a way, but not so much. So everything they're really kind of going for even more thrashier style of sounds here, or styles, just mixing into to the overall already sort of existing sort of combination of like stoner metal and groove metal, but again mixing a little bit more thrashier stuff. Again, maybe that's where the Pantera comparisons maybe start coming in there, because again, the Great Southern Trendkill, maybe that, or Far Beyond Driven, you know, those kind of albums basically, or Reinventing the Steel, I think is where people will make a lot of those comparisons to, but I can't really say they're that. Or even like Cowboys from Hell, the more thrashier stuff you might have gotten on some of those albums do kind of, again, they creep into here. And that's definitely, again, advent on songs like After a Downfall / Rise, or The Sun is Falling Down, or even some of the other ones like We Are the Evil Masters, or Pain Inside My Head. You know, you get those kind of feels during some of these songs where they're starting to be a little heavier. They're starting to really get more of a straight up, more faster sort of pacing with the sort of almost thrashy kind of riffing, but still keeps that sort of almost stoner / groove metal feel going on. So it's you get that. There is some, again, it does end with a very slower kind of track with Flowers on My Grave, and it's a very interesting way to end it. So either way, for the most part, this is a pretty solid album from start to finish, and again, I actually like this. I didn't think I was going to like it as much as I did, but I ended up. So I think it's a fine album. So there we go. There it is, folks. There's my overall opinions on the songs themselves. I know I also could have commented on the production, which is, again, very great. This is definitely very, very well produced album, and very mixed for today, especially for a band like these guys. So it's sounds great. Good production. So there's that. As far as a rating, I'm giving it, since I've got it written down, a 8.05 out of 10. Basically 8.5. Again, I think it's a pretty solid album from these guys. Again, since me being not very familiar with the Black Thunder, since I'm not very familiar with them, I think it's a pretty solid album from these guys, and I'm definitely a little bit surprised here and there on some of it. I mean, depending on if you liked this sort of style of music, again, groove metal / sort of stoner metal, if you like that sort of combination, this might appeal to you. But if you're not into that kind of sound, this is not going to appeal to you. So I'm not going to recommend it to those that this may not be an appealing album to. You know, if it doesn't appeal to you, I can't recommend it to you. But if this is something that appeals to you, yes, I will recommend this to you. And since if I'm recommending it, well, I'm going to leave you a link to the Bandcamp page in the description box, so you can check this album out, and hopefully that this does something for you. Again, if it appeals to you, you might like this. So again, go and check out that Bandcamp link. So with that, hope all of you enjoyed. Thank you to the Black Thunder for bringing this to my attention, and I'm glad. So I'm glad I fulfilled the request. So there we go. Hope all of you enjoyed. This is Harry Thrasher saying I'm out, and I'll see you all later. Take care, everyone.